It was supposed to be a quiet family vacation, a small cabin, a peaceful mountain town, a place where nothing ever happened. But one night, inside Cabin 28, something went terribly wrong. This is the chilling and still unsolved story of the Keddie Cabin Murders. In April of 1981, the Sharp family traveled to the small town of Keddie, California. Sue Sharp was 36 years old, a single mother trying to rebuild her life. With her were her children, 15-year-old John, 14-year-old Sheila, and 12-year-old Tina. They rented Cabin 28 at the Keddie Resort. It was meant to be temporary, a fresh start. On the night of April 11th, Sue and two of her sons were inside the cabin. Also staying with them was John's friend, 14-year-old Dana Wingate. Sheila, the oldest daughter, was spending the night at a friend's house nearby. That decision would save her life. Sometime during the night, between 9:30 p.m. and early morning, someone entered Cabin 28. There was no forced entry, no signs of a break-in. Whoever came inside was either allowed in or already known. The next morning, Sheila returned home. She opened the door and walked into a nightmare. Inside the living room were four bodies: Sue Sharp, her son John, his friend Dana. All had been brutally attacked. They were bound with wire and tape, beaten, stabbed. The scene was violent beyond comprehension. And yet, there were strange details. Despite the brutality, the cabin showed no signs of a struggle. Furniture was mostly undisturbed. Nothing appeared stolen. It was as if the victims had been restrained quickly and helpless from the start. Even more disturbing was what wasn't there. 12-year-old Tina Sharp was missing. Her bed was empty. At first, police believed she had been abducted. But there were no footprints, no witnesses, no clear trail. The investigation immediately began to unravel. Crime scene protocols were ignored. Cabin 28 was not properly sealed. Friends, neighbors, and even children were allowed to walk through the scene. Evidence was contaminated. Critical clues were lost forever. Two men were quickly identified as suspects. They had been seen near the cabin that night. They had violent histories. And yet, they were released. Charges were dropped. No arrests were made. Years passed. The case went cold. Then, 3 years later, a shocking discovery was made. In 1984, Tina Sharp's remains were found over 30 miles away. Her skull, her jaw, confirmation that she had been murdered. But how she was taken, and by whom, remained unknown. New evidence surfaced decades later: a forgotten hammer, a bloody knife, tape that had never been tested, DNA, information that should have solved the case. But by then, time had done its damage. Suspects had died. Memories had faded. One disturbing theory suggests the crime was not random, that it was personal, that Sue Sharp was the intended target, and her children were witnesses. Another theory suggests more than one attacker. People who knew the cabin, knew the family, knew how to control the situation without noise. What makes the Keddie case so terrifying is not just the violence. It's the mistakes, the feeling that this case could have been solved, that answers were within reach, and then lost. Cabin 28 no longer exists. It was demolished years ago. But what happened inside those walls has never been explained. 4 lives taken, 1 child abducted and murdered. No justice, no closure. More than 40 years later, the Keddie Cabin Murders remain officially unsolved, and Cabin 28 remains a symbol of how silence, fear, and failure can bury the truth forever. What really happened that night? Who walked into that cabin and walked away?